Mocha Z and Kirsten G. Beautiful, strong queens, come and listen to 3. Peace and love comes naturally. Powerful, outspoken women listen happily.
Welcome, everybody, welcome. Another edition of POW Radio Live. I hope you guys have enjoyed your week so far. Let me just tell you briefly, I'm on vacation, so of course I've enjoyed mine 2 days so far. And I know y'all trying to figure out who that ain't Kirsten G. So listen, y'all have heard her voice ever since the inception of POW Radio, but you never saw her face.
Look at it, ain't it so beautiful? Don't you agree? Sexual chocolate. Don't you agree?
Yes. This is our girl D, who is in charge of our comment section on the live show. But today we wanted to introduce and put a face with the sound.
Yes.
Welcome, D.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes. So
hi,
we know
everybody.
we're good, girl. Listen, I know you be dealing with them comments every week, but tell us a little bit about you. Everybody know all about us. Tell us what's going on with D. Ooh. Since we ain't talking to Kirsten G.
Okay. Shout out to KG.
Yes. Shout out to KG.
Business.
She'll be back next week. She in the world of self-entrepreneurship and business, so we let her get that coin.
Yes.
Get the coins. So tell us, D. Tell us something about you, girl.
I don't even know where to start.
Girl,
well, just
it all started back in 1972.
Changing for me for a positive note. I released some heavy baggage and things are actually opening up. I'll be going back to school to start my master's program next year. So that's in the works. And my family's healthy. I'm healthy. So that's the
Won't
best thing.
he do it, baby? If they all healthy, count that a blessing.
Yes.
I'm excited about this going back to school.
I know.
When you let go of some baggage, baby, the doors just open.
I'm supposed to take a year off.
But you know what? I think that when you go back to school after that, it makes it much easier because you're in a different mindset. You're more mature. You're more focused.
And a lot of times it's a choice. Now, at this age. I mean, when you were younger, you kind of felt like you had to go. Like, I went to college because that was the natural progression of my life at that time. You know, I was really young and still, like, going off of what my parents were. But you know what stops me?
What?
Writing papers.
Ooh, yeah, because that's the section. This is time where that's all that's going to be in the paper, right?
I know.
But you got to learn the art of writing a paper.
I'm very good.
Oh, so you had
the fast
well, that's who you're going to check in with, girl. You're going to check in with her. Yeah, it's the writing of and the crazy part is I'm a really good writer. But it's something about you telling me that I have to do something at a particular time and it has to be done that bothers with me mentally. And so I can't get to my writing flow if I have all these prerequisites sitting
around. Stop having an attitude and just do what they ask you to do.
I'm not in school because it's a choice.
Don't be telling me to
I'm
write
not in school because it's a choice.
Even though it's in the syllabus and I signed up for it. Don't be telling me to write it.
What you mean this is Friday even though you told me that 3 months ago? Absolutely not. My writing thing don't work on Fridays. It don't. But I am excited.
I am too.
You can come to me for questions, but writing the paper.
Yeah, I'm here.
She's got the art.
And it's a different perspective now because it's my money.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't playing.
Do right by your money, girl.
Nobody else's money. This is my money.
Exactly.
So
that's messed up. So you just play with your mama money then is what you're saying.
I got a degree.
So you play with your mama money, but not your money.
All the bees.
So not your money.
I played with your money, but I got a piece of paper that said
I finished while I was playing. That's the key. I finished while
baby,
I
won't take back them college years for nothing. Now, the only way I'll go back
real quick, can I say that because you just brought this up? So today, I don't know why I've been in this whole euphoric thing lately where I've been reminiscing about everything. So I woke up the other morning.
I remember when.
I know. And all of a sudden, every R. Kelly song that I could think of popped in my head.
What?
I was like, where did R. Kelly come from?
He was struggling inside.
My inner R. Kelly was coming
felt
out.
his struggle.
I was like, because I haven't, since the whole R. Kelly thing, I haven't listened to it or nothing like that. And I really pondered, because it was a battle. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to go ahead and listen because that's a lot of my memories A lot of those songs, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, remember when we was, it's unfortunate what was happening behind the scenes, but I wasn't privy.
Nobody
was.
Well, I ain't say nobody, but most of the world
that's
wasn't.
the soundtrack to a big chunk of my life. I was just reminiscing to R. Kelly. I posted it too, and people was like, fuck R. Kelly.
They sure were.
I missed that post. But you know what's so crazy is some people can't separate the art from the action.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I get that. You know what I'm saying? You want to, because that's the entire person. So the person made the art and the person did the action as well. Right. So I totally get that. But I'm with you. Like, you can't just chunk away all the things that transpired in that era.
And if you really knew the evil stuff that most of these people that we
celebrities
do, we wouldn't be watching movies,
even if
music.
Even if people paid attention to what I do. Like, behind my closed doors, in my four walls, like, I don't want to be judged like that. I don't feel like I do it R. Kelly type stuff. I'm just saying we judge people on action. No, ma'am, it's not a topic. We need to get this. So I'm so glad you're going back to school. That is great, B.
Come on,
thank you, girl.
We're gonna go back to the original.
Now let's talk about some random topics, girl. Because that school thing gonna be stressful, but we gonna be here for you, okay?
Oh yeah, we gonna be here for you,
girl.
It's
speak
not
that.
Speak
that. It's gonna be so enjoying.
Peaceful. I may hit my hurdles, but with God, I can achieve anything.
It's not gonna
look
be
at her speak on that. Cover that up. Cover that. That's
and
good
then,
stuff.
I don't know about you, but the older I get, the more I like to learn. So it's interesting to me now.
All right, so just to reiterate, our topic for tonight is when is enough? And as specific to, or we're going to be specific to relationships, significant other type of relationship, or even like a friendship type of relationship. But just what do you think enough is enough? And I personally think that everybody's enough is going to be different. I think it's based on how you were raised, the things that have surrounded you in life, like just what you allow in those type of relationships is going to really determine what your enough is. But you guys chime in. I mean, I feel like
I think it's, I guess, wherever your breaking point would be, and I do think it's different for everybody. And in different situations, you can have different breaking points, and different, like multiple enoughs. You know, I always go back to this because this was like the major relationship in my life because it happened in my young adult to adult time. So the ones prior to that was like puppy love, I guess. I don't know. But anyway,
true love. It was true love.
My enough in that situation was exhausting everything that I felt I could do on my own. Whatever little things, talk, don't talk. You know, cater, don't cater. You know, different things. That didn't work. So then I went to counseling. We go to counseling. That didn't work. So I'm like, okay, we're going to try this. We're going to go to church counseling. That didn't work. So I tried like...
Was that different?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. They just say Jesus is alive.
I mean, I just felt like counseling was counseling, but I'm glad.
They just pray with you and say Jesus. That's different. But once I realized, okay, there is absolutely nothing I can do to save this situation or to make it better. The person on the other side of this is resistant or whatever. So I'm just spinning my wheels, and I literally felt like I was dying inside. And I was like the sunken place, I feel like I was really falling into it. Like, and I felt like I was just getting to the point to where I was really just about to lose myself and won't be able to come back from it. And I was like, oh, that was my breaking point. Like, if I don't do it now, then there's not going to be any of me left. So that was my breaking point for that, you know. And then even now, I would say my breaking point or my enough is enough is my boundaries that I set for people, you know, about just respecting me, or, you know, some things are just like a no-go, and I set a boundary, and if you still want to cross it, then I just have to, like my brother. I love my brother, but my brother and I have this crazy relationship, and I tried to have a heart-to-heart with him about it, And I thought we had, made some headway, but I told him that I didn't want to keep fighting over things that happened as a child because I don't even remember or know. Right. Mm-hmm. And I would want to get a relationship now. As an adult, we can start from there. Thought we had a powwow and everything. Shortly after, he was back to the same type of abuse, name calling, just crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just told him, okay, we had that talk. I set that boundary. You want to be on the other side of it. So enough is enough for me. So I'm going to have to just block you for a little while and just let you cool off. Mm-hmm. Because that's just not. So I think my enough is enough are the boundaries that I'm setting right now to protect myself and then just to allow people to be in their own space. That's one thing that I'm learning. That's a lesson that I'm learning right now. Just let people be in their own space, wherever it is. Because, a lot of times, well, at least I do, my reflex is to offer a suggestion or try to help or try to do that. And one of the things that irritates me most is when I'm trying to help and somebody's like, kind of like irritated or like just an asshole about it. It's like, I'm trying to help you, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and do you. So now I just be like,
when I say I get that all the time,
what?
In my professional world, like when you're attempting to help because or you've experienced or you've been, you know what I'm saying? I'm just because we're talking about personal today, I must just speak on that. But I get that often. And I realized a long time ago, my boundaries have been set for me. Like I've been very secure in who I am and what Keisha stands for, and my morals and my yes and my no's, and for quite some time. And I do commend my parents because I know that that's where all of that came from. Mm-hmm. But for me, like in the relationship, enough is enough for me when I've done, just like you said, all I can. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like if I let this go today, I did 100% or 150% to make it work or to grow in this relationship, then I don't feel any kind of way about saying it's over. And that's about a boyfriend or a friendship. You know what I'm saying? If I've done 150% of what I could do, then enough is enough for me. Now, there are those boundaries. I think it's kind of separate because there are some things that I just will not allow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to allow you to be disrespectful to a point where you're hurting me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to allow that. So I don't care if I only gave you 50%. Mm-hmm. But if you have disrespected me to a point where it's hurting me, then I'm not going to allow that. So that's enough for me. I don't have to give you all of me to say I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So there are those boundaries that I feel like I set. But early on in my life, when I kind of realized what part of my purpose was, as far as being an encourager, being a supporter, like always going 100% for somebody, like you said in previous shows, you could tell me an idea, this is what I want to do, then boom, let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just been who I've always been. But I realized even in doing that, I'm going 100, and the person who had the whole idea is at 20%, or 50, and I'm like, yo, I'm up here. You said you wanted to do this. You know what I'm saying? How I get 3 streets ahead of you? You know what I'm saying? Like how that happen?
Energy come next month.
Yeah.
That same energy.
Right. But see, sometimes, I mean, in that time frame, like when I was learning these lessons, it was hard for me to not go 100. Yeah. It was hard for me to even see that they was doing 20 or 50 and not still push for them to do the 100, not still try to, and I was literally pushing people to see the potential that I saw in them. Or even like the vision, like, okay, I see what you're saying. And most times, and people probably don't know this because I ain't never say it, but when people come to me with ideas or things that they want to do, I pray on it, whether they prayed on it or not. You know what I'm saying? I pray on it. And if God has said, this is exactly what I have for them, then I'm full speed ahead. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whether they really gonna have that conversation with God and really ready to give their 100% on it. I mean, they may have heard, oh, this is what I want you to do, but they not sure. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They not confident in what God has spoken over their life. But me, let's go. You know?
Yeah,
and
then you get a gardener in my my garden seeds that have been planted. Mm-hmm. she waters them often with her prayers. A lot of times when I feel overwhelmed or stuff, I'll be like, Keisha, I need you to pray for me, girl. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. Girl.
She do.
I need you to get me. She be like, got you.
She be texting at like 6 in the morning though. I be like,
hey, I'm an early riser.
Okay, Lord, I'm here.
Let me just say, I apologize to everybody that I wake up in the morning. I am an early riser. And that is where everything is fresh and vibrant and new ideas, accountability, everything. I meditate in the morning. I pray in the morning. So everything is like, and I'll be like, oh yeah. And see, by the time the sun come up, I've been forgot everything I was supposed to say. So I'll be like, oh, yep, that, let me, Keisha, boom. Okay, that.
Girl, I wake up in the morning to like 16 pages.
My family in California be pissed.
Or something, and I'd be like, Lord.
Because it'd be like 3 hours behind, and it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning, daytime. I'd be like, my bad.
The crazy part is that we are a lot alike in so many ways. Like, I think too in the morning, but in my morning time is my me time. So I do have all of those thoughts going through my head of what I want to do that day, what I want to do tomorrow, what I want to do next week, next month, my plans for my life. Like, all of those things populate in the morning because I feel like I don't really sleep anyway because my mind is always going. So all of those things populate in the morning for me too, but I just mentally take a note. I don't really be like, let me text.
After I get out of my meditation and I say amen and all of that, and I get up and as I'm doing my day, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I get it out there. Hey,
yeah, you do.
Hey,
you
get
do.
it out there.
But
It's good information though. I'm not waking y'all up with no bullshit though. Just so you know. It be good stuff now. Okay, I be waking y'all up with
I
good
say all of
stuff.
that to say that it took me a moment to realize what my enough is when it came to my friends and their goals in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to get to a point where I was like, okay, Keisha, you can't go 100 if they going 50. So that enough is enough. At some point, you got to pull back and just follow their lead, but be there to support them on the timeline that they have. Because a lot of times as friends and even in relationships, you see the potential in your friend or you see the potential in your mate. And because you see it, you want them to steadfast and get on the path to getting to achieving those dreams. And when it doesn't happen in your time, then you get frustrated. Like she was saying, you get frustrated. I will for me. I would get frustrated. Like, what you waiting on? Like, you said this is what you want to do. We got a whole plan about how we can get that done. Right. Why are we not doing that? What are we waiting on? What are you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a firm believer especially if God has told you that this is for you, this is your destiny, this is what I have for you, even if it's what I have for you at this moment. Because he can have several things for you in life. But if he has spoken over you right now at this moment and said, this is what I have for you, just like you going to school. If he came to you and said, you know what, I need you to get back in school, I need you to you ain't filled it out in a week, I fill out the application for you. You ain't submitted it. I submit the application for you. At what point are you going to do what God has already told you this is what he has for you? How much do I have to do for you as a friend or in a relationship? Like, when is enough?
Right. I think enough is, when you think of enough is enough, just us talking about it, I think of that as you're defending something, yourself, your heart, your time, or whatever. Because if the situation wasn't that, just use a scenario you just did, and you mentioned go to school, and they she mentioned I send you the application. Oh yeah, I filled it out, and just say y'all working together. There wouldn't be an enough because you're just constantly going. There would not be a need for an enough. We need the enoughs because we are protecting ourselves from being damaged or whatever the situation. That's why we have to say, okay, stop.
Basically protecting yourself from doing too much.
You know, protecting you from other people.
Doing too much.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you didn't
or even your role in that person's life, you know, sometimes we think we're supposed to be this person.
Yep.
You know, and vice versa. I may think that a person that comes in my life is supposed to occupy this space and do this thing for me. You know what I'm saying? You know how they always say people come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime.
Right.
And we don't initially know that when we meet people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes that person, when you do realize that that person was just a season, you really got to your enough.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I knew it was only a season because I'm done. It's enough for me. That time we spent together was great, but I'm done. It's enough for me.
I've been reflecting so much lately, and I'm so much like my dad. It's crazy. My dad has had a personality that he never met a stranger. And everybody, even to this day, I even had a man hit me on Facebook. Was like, I know your dad. You know, he was great. He was so funny. And, you know, and I'm like, dang, just if a regular anybody would have judged him because of the hard life that he had. But he had such a good heart that people love him. But I have a lot of his personality. I'm an outgoing person. I really don't need a stranger. I can get along with anybody. But younger and growing up, I've just always been outspoken, you know, especially when I was younger. I know I got on people's nerves because
you weren't standing in a child's place like that.
I know I got on people's nerves because it's like you said, my brain's always going. I have ideas and opinion and this, that, and the third. And it's like the older I get, the quieter I've become. You know what I'm saying? And not that I don't still have the opinions or the thoughts or whatever. It's just that, like I said earlier, I've just learned to let people be in their space. If you want me, if you want my advice or opinion, or you want to have a back and forth conversation, I'm here. But now, you know, a lot of times I just sit back, and it's so funny. And just the other day I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is so funny because I feel like I'm almost not the same person. I am, but I'm not, because I'm not as, you know, outgoing. It's still in me, but I just like let people be.
But for new people that I encounter, I'm full speed ahead. Like I haven't shut off that let's go, let's do it. If you tell me, you know what I'm saying, because you're not involved in my life yet. I don't really know what position you're going to play. So I'm going to be Keisha 150% until I see what position you're going to play. And then I'm probably going to back up and be like, okay, I'm still going to support, I'm still going to encourage, but I'm going to do it at your level, not at my level. Pace, you know what I'm saying? Right. Not at my level because you're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But that part is what I had to learn. That's how I had to transition into what I know God has for me and how to actually use it. So it's a difference in understanding your purpose and actually utilizing it the way He wants you to.
And I was just thinking, like, that's the way how we really learned ourselves through all of this process, because we know what we can take, can't take, what we need to do. So we're really building upon our own character and different things by setting all these different boundaries.
And it's okay to feel different because that's part of growth. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not growing, then you're dying. So those things transition. You do mature and you do realize, okay, I'm going to let them go at their pace because they can't go at my pace. It's fine,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But you don't really. I didn't realize that at the time. Right. For me, it was like, but this is what God has for me. This is what I'm supposed to do. So whenever somebody come to me, I'm like, excellent. She had 17,000 ideas.
I've had 14 teams.
Every 14 teams she said, I planned it out until
14 teams.
All she really had to do was just check this thing off the list and check this thing off the list. That's all she really had to do.
But that's why I only surround myself with those type of people. Because I can tell Keisha an idea, and she's going to be just as excited, and we going to be like, boom, 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 boom. I can tell KG. Keisha can talk to KG. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have friends that I can talk to, and they just be like, yeah. Everybody that I know pretty much is running a business, had a business. They doing 14 teams, you know. Everybody is forward motion. You know what I'm saying? And that is great and helpful for all of us, actually, because we don't really have a weak link. We're all in forward motion in our own lanes.
I was just about to say the most important part too is to recognize each other's strengths, and then you won't break into that. Enough is enough, because I won't bore Zan down with things that is her weakness that she's not really good at, because then that's gonna pull her away. This is enough. I can't keep pressing myself to do something that I'm not good at. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But if I press her to do something that she's good at, that's her strength of hers, then she full speed ahead as long as that's what she wants to do. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a respect level. That's how you value a person. If you value that person, then why would you want to do the things that you know is going to push them to their enough?
At different stages of my life. my enough was different because I was at a different stage in my maturity and my growth. And even where I am now, my enough is if you disrupt my peace, that's too much.
Oh yeah,
shut it down,
girl. I'm about to get out here. Girl, my great grandmama and my great grandmama felt about that peace.
Okay,
that peace.
Let me tell you,
that peace is so
everything. That days where I have a million things to do, I would rather sit in my peace and be still. But I can't allow anybody else to come in and disrupt that for me.
Right.
Because that's what keeps me centered. It ain't always been like that. I mean, you asked me 2 or 3 years ago, it might have been disrespect. And before that, just talking to me any kind of way. You know, it's just, and it's different things with different people.
Right.
But just where I am now, because I'm about to embark on something new, I have to have peace and I have to be centered within me. So I can't let nobody come in here and make me unstable. That's just too much for me because I don't want to have to sacrifice what I'm about to embark on for somebody else.
Yep. That is definitely an enough moment, the sacrifice. Because I think people do that all the time in all types of relationships. We make sacrifices and we don't realize how those sacrifices can be detrimental to us until we've had enough.
And I think that the sacrifices become that way because you get depleted. The sacrifice is like somebody's draining from you. You're giving all of this, but they're not giving back into you, so you get drained. And when you got nothing else to give, it's like
you don't even have enough to give to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the whole self-care thing, like I think we mentioned in one of the episodes about taking care of you, making sure that you're good because the people around you can't be happy if you're unhappy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they see that. They see your emotional instability or whatever it is. So you can play like you smiling when we talking, but I know. You know what I'm saying? As a friend, I know, and there's no way that I can truly be happy if I know that you're not happy.
Because I like all my friends, me and Robin talk about this. Like even I could just hear your voice and I can know something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? That's like how in tune that we are because we care, we pay attention to cues, and it's everything encompassing. And just to go back to the peace thing, it took me a long time to get this level because I think there's levels of peace. It took me a long time to get to this level of peace, and I'm like, nobody is taking that because it feels so good. And I just want to get to the peace that my grandmother had. She's 80 something years old, and we had these little talks, and she just is so content. She was like, I don't got a lot of money. I'm not all this, that, and the third. You know, I got my health and blah, blah, blah. But I'm content. I live in a nice little neighborhood, some little old people, you know, her little neighbors. The senior community. She like her neighbors, you know. She got her own little thing going on. And she's content. She's like, I don't. And I like that level of peace. It just gives me joy to hear her talk about that peace because I know that it takes so much to get there. You know what I'm saying? She's 80-some years old, so she's been through a lot of stuff to get to that level of peace.
I definitely agree that there's levels of peace. I've always, from the moment that I moved off campus in college and got my own place, my mindset about peace has evolved from being able to have peace in my home. I don't know if somebody told me this or just something I came up with, but I say it all the time. The world is chaotic.
Yes.
A lot of things happen in this world. But when I go home, that's my space. Exactly. That's where my peace resides. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my house. And from the moment I moved off campus, from the moment I got an apartment, I always felt like that level of peace had to be consistent for me. So I didn't invite random people to my spot. You know what I'm saying? You know how people used to have like little parties and kickbacks? No, not unless we were tight. When you coming to invade my space, you know what I'm saying? I'll just come visit you.
That's how I am now.
You know what I'm saying? Like I never was that person. You know what I'm saying? Even once I got my home, I had a housewarming to invite 6 people. How many people came to my house?
Well, I can't lie. In college, I wasn't like that. I was like, everybody come over. We had smoke house. We had the Pringles can. We was like, hey, everybody you smoke or y'all want to Come on, we playing cards, we dominoes.
I was not. I think AE Road, remember AE Road School? Mm-hmm. They came to my apartment. We had a little kickback, and then Alpha Mega the theater. Mm-hmm. Those were people that I knew and I connected with on so many different levels. Yeah. But just to say I'm having a random party, never in my life have I had that. Never have I had random people come to my house in any place that I live, because to me that was a level of peace that I didn't want anybody to invade. Even when people say they want to stay with me for a couple of months, because my house is always open, I'm fine with that too. You have your own space, I have my own space, and my first rule is that this is where my peace resides. So don't invite random people to my house, and I don't want no mess. Like I don't all of that you got going on when you're yapping on the phone and talking about such and such and doing this and doing that. Do that outside. Don't bring that into my house, because that's where my peace resides. Right. That level, because I did the same thing. Where the peace resides. Hey, and that's on Mary had a little that. But in saying that, my vacation started this week, and the crazy part is I was trying to reschedule my vacation. I didn't really want it to be this week. But I couldn't reschedule it, and I was just like, by last Friday, I was like, you know what, Lord, this is you telling me. I just need to take the time, don't go nowhere, just sit at home. And yesterday, I literally did that.
What, girl?
Nothing. Still?
You didn't do nothing.
Nothing. You didn't leave the house
at all. Girl?
I didn't even get out my pajamas yesterday.
What, girl?
I like that type of
What's
energy.
today's date? Do y'all hear us? This thing set still.
She sat still. I didn't leave my house in my pajamas. I did not move. And people think I'm always moving, but I do have moments where I just sit home and don't do nothing. Like a day or two a month that I put aside for myself. Usually on a Sunday, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, when I'm not leaving the house or whatever. So I do take that moment, but I just don't take it as often as I should. You know what I'm saying? Even at home, I'm still usually on the computer, texting y'all. You know what I'm saying? Doing something. So it's really not a be still. And even yesterday, I texted y'all a few times, but I literally didn't do anything.
It's hard to, because like we was talking about earlier, like when I have my fibromyalgia attack, I literally just need to lay in the bed for like 2 to 3 days and do nothing. But it's hard to. Even when I'm laying in the bed, I'm like thinking in my brain, I'm like, okay, let me get my computer. I'm on my computer. And I'm like, oh, but if I go on that computer, and then, but I feel like since I'm home, I'm resting.
Right.
I ain't resting.
But yesterday, I kept saying, I'm going to get up and get the computer and do some research. And Then I was like, no, I can do it on my phone. And then I picked up my phone and I said, no, I'm not doing anything. So all the times that I thought, go to your computer, do this, something said, nope, don't do it.
But you know, we forget that the mental piece of resting. Because we can sit still, but our mind can still be racing, and our mind controls everything in our body. So your mind is tired at the end of the night, and you ain't did nothing. Yes. So we have to learn how to shut it off just a little bit, so we can sit still and rest and recuperate. Because otherwise,
that's why I have to do my prayer and meditation, because that's the only time I can still my brain. Because like you said, even when I sleep, I feel like I'm not asleep. I just feel like I'm thinking, I'm just living in a different, reality. You know what I'm going to sleep.
Questions. I want to get
we got a comment. Because we don't, when we start, even though the topic was enough is enough, we done got into self-care, peace, and all of it.
But it all wrapped back into each other. So, question from Instagram. Do you notice that you're getting to a point of your enough, and do you have a conversation before you have just had it and walk away?
I say
I think it's respectful for you to have a conversation, because you definitely feel that your enough is coming. Right. You definitely start getting irritated at little things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't answer the phone, or you ain't gonna respond to the text right away. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things, you start to feel like, you know, you have those little feelings, why they calling me? They always asking me. That type of feeling, but you're not really quite yet to say, I'm not going to deal with them no more. You just kind of irritated about having to deal with them.
And then a lot of times people will just drift away and they won't have the conversation. They just put the space, and then those conversations every day becoming every other day, every other week. And
okay, Kim. All right now.
Okay,
She's jamming back there. Okay. Everybody was like,
okay. What? Okay.
Kim was going off back there. We're going to have to bring her on camera one time for y'all.
Okay, yeah. I gotta see Kim. I know that kind of threw me off. But
we were just talking about how it's respectful to go ahead and have that conversation with people. But I agree. Sometimes people do fade away.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me several times in my life where I was friends with somebody and this person we hung out with almost every day. We talked. You know, so every day. We even worked together. And it was like just constantly seeing each other, hanging out with each other, having a good time, taking trips and whoop-de-woo. And then something transpired. And it put me in a different position. And I guess they probably felt that I felt a different position. And while I wasn't straying away from all the things that we did, I was just cognizant of what I did with that person and how I interacted with that person. But I guess they felt some kind of way too. So they just kind of slowly drifted and we stopped talking every day. We stopped hanging out all the time, but we're still good. You know what I'm saying? Like we still work together, we still talk on occasions, we still hang out on occasions, you know what I'm saying? So I think we both got to a space where we realized that it was a season for us and the lifetime aspect was different.
I definitely think that if you are going to keep being in commune with a person, you should have the conversation.
I agree.
Because like she said, it's a respect thing, and if you don't, you both are going to be disrespectful. Right? Now, in terms of like she said, I've had drift away from friends and stuff. I just think that sometimes those conversations don't necessarily need to be had because you both kind of know where you stand in your own lane, but you also know that you can still get along with certain things, so it don't necessarily need to be a conversation about it because you both kind of get it.
Because the conversation is really gonna be like, we ain't going out all the time.
Right, exactly.
I
already knew that. We ain't doing that.
Yeah,
what you talking about that for?
So I mean, I agree. Like I think now, I feel like if you've defined, if both of you guys have defined that this type of relationship is a lifetime type of relationship, then you definitely have to have that conversation because that's gonna determine if that's true. You know what I'm saying? If you've gotten to a point where enough is enough, then I need to have this conversation with you. If we've said or we felt like this is a lifetime situation, then out of respect for that, I need to have a conversation with you and let you know this. You crossing some boundaries, and I'm getting to the point where enough is enough, or however you want to have that conversation.
I think people need to be cognizant of the fact that we change. And as we change, it's okay to go back and have a conversation and say, hey, we were there, now we're here. I did feel that way, now I feel this way. You know, so it's okay because a lot of times we get in friendships or relationships or situation, and however that is, then that's how the person or the perception is that you guys are always going to be that way. So anytime you have a changed feeling or something is different, that's usually the conflict. Because it's like, wait a minute, that ain't how it used to be. Well, it shouldn't be.
That's
supposed to
seasonal
evolve. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's supposed to evolve. We're supposed to change. You know what I'm saying? Even like in the dating, you might meet somebody you don't know. Y'all start spending time together. I mean, you don't have no feelings, but the more and more you spend time together, you might start having feelings. Then you can have a conversation like, hey, you know, I'm having feelings. You having feelings? We both having feelings. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to you be having feelings. They ain't really having feelings.
I think the people that don't respect the fact that you do change are definitely not the lifetime people. Right. I feel like those are the seasoned people because in that season, that's how they feel and that's how y'all connected. So they don't. Why would you change? Why would you not be? Yeah,
I would say that, but it's a lot of people in marriages like that. That have been together for years and years. Some of them ain't going nowhere. They just it's unfortunate, but a lot of people do, and especially older couples and stuff. You might see older couples that you might see that you be like, how is they together? You know what I'm saying? They just used to it. They just accept it. I can't. No. It's not for me.
It's definitely not for me. But like I said on the previous episode, I come from a family of units. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Of a husband and a wife of marriage. Right. Like from my parents, from my grandparents, from my aunts and uncles. Mm-hmm. So I never dreamed of anything different. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say I never saw anything different, because I definitely seen what single parent households or grandparents or aunts raising. So I definitely saw that, but I never dreamed of anything different than what my parents had or what my grandparents had. So no way that I could see myself in a relationship just to be in a relationship. Yeah. Especially if we grown.
Where you had a discussion that, hey, you're about to cross that boundary, and you guys are still in a good place, like they made the change for better in any situation for you all? I know it hadn't worked for me.
I don't even know if I've ever had to have that conversation.
I'll say in friendships, yes. Okay. Like, I don't think me and you ever had no conflict, but like my friend Robin, she and I, we
did one time.
We did.
Not really no conflict, but I remember you telling me about, girl. What we did? It really wasn't no conflict, but I remember 2 times. I remember her one time telling me, I ain't always got to have something to say.
I told you that, girl.
Yeah, girl. She said, sometimes. No, I didn't. It was a lesson for me. She was like, sometimes I just want you to listen. And before then, I was on go. Like, you tell me you got a problem, I'm a fixer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do remember.
And I'm still like that to this day for certain aspects, but from that conversation, I realized that I do have to, not necessarily, I'm not going to say I don't have to listen, but I do have to listen, but I also have to allow people to feel what they feel in that moment. Mm-hmm. And before then, I listened and I understood what you felt, but I felt like you called me. Yeah, you called me because you wanted me. You called me because you wanted me to
all the way out. She like, girl, she already had this, and we can do that, and then you
baby, I was the solution.
I'm like, Keisha, just listen, yo. Like,
that wasn't really the argument. But there was one time we had a disagreement.
Don't fix it.
And then the second time was when she was heavy in her situation. She felt like I kind of pulled back from the situation when you were in your marriage, and you was like, you felt like I kind of pulled back, and that was just like a little conversation. I was like,
I do remember that conversation. Yeah, but we had a conversation.
Yeah, we did. But I don't know if I thought that was an enough situation, or just because we've always been open enough to discuss whatever we felt.
You two are communicators, though.
Definitely,
that's what y'all do.
But yeah, like I was saying with my friend Robin, she and I rarely ever get into it, but when we do, we take a little beat, you know what I'm saying, get in our feelings, and then we usually be like, let's go get a margarita or a drink or come over. And then we sit and talk about it. She tell me how she feel. I tell her how I feel. We tell the intent, and then we say, okay, so now we know you don't like when I do this. I don't like when you do that. We're not going to do it. Cool, boom. And we go on. And then, like, I met this guy one time a while back. He was real cool, and we kind of defined what we thought dating was. And so we was like, okay, we both on the same page with what we thought dating was, spending time together, getting to know each other, whatever. So, okay, cool, you open for that? Because, you know, when you do date, you go towards a relationship. Mm-hmm. We both like, yeah, we open. We're not trying to get in nothing, but we open and, date. Okay, cool. So we start dating. And down the line, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like them, So, over dinner or whatever, had a talk. Okay, so we've been dating for a while, and my feelings are changing. Not that I'm in love. I don't want to, jump the broom. But it's gone from you just being cool to, like, me liking you now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. He must have heard, will you marry me?
Not will you marry me.
Did I tell you that food changed? I was like, what happened? He's on first. Somebody tell me. I was like, wait, what happened? I said, I thought that was what you're supposed to do. Like, have a conversation about it. Because I don't want to just be do along this road and you over here.
Right.
My thing is this, just let me be aware of the situation, and then I can determine what I want to do with the situation. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go blindly into something or assuming feeling this one way and it's not, or whatever. So I like to have conversations.
That happens way too often, though.
I know. That's why I like to have
people never know the real situation until they're deep in it, and then you're trying to figure out either how to stay, how to get out of it, how to change it, and that's unfair.
Or you find yourself in a situation and one person might be all in love and the other person be like we just.
But if you would have just had a conversation about
all
what
it takes
you would
is
have
a
known, this day and age would probably be cool with what you want to do.
A lot.
But you take their choice to decide whether they want to go right or left.
Right.
And that destroys the whole relationship.
Yeah.
From the get-go, I feel like, and you don't even realize that you destroyed it because you didn't give me the option. So now I'm in the middle of this situation that you never told me about from the beginning, and now I got to decide if I want to keep moving forward or just pull myself out of it and cut my losses. And you mad because I decide I want to cut my losses after I've been in it for 6 months. And but it's not my fault. You didn't give me this.
And either way, you still gonna be hurt.
Exactly.
You gotta go through either heartbreak or dealing with an asshole.
Enough is enough. So listen, comment below. Tell us what your enough is enough is. We kind of talked about different aspects of enough is enough, but I'm just curious as what other people's enough is enough is. And let's be specific. Let's talk about friendship. What do you think your enough is enough when it comes to friendship?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what my enough is enough is. I think my enough is I had a scenario. I think my enough is enough as a friend is when I've literally sacrificed and gave 150% to the friendship, and you shit on it by disrespecting my sacrifice, my time, my contribution to the friendship, my everything, by doing something that is completely opposite of who we are as a friend. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I'm done with that.
I think for me, that is for me with friends too. And I think my real enough is enough is for my friends to behave or to respond or act as though they don't know me from the perception of somebody else that they might know
or utilize
anything
something
like that.
And
it's like, but you don't know me. Like, you should know me. So why would you even think in your mind whatever the situation is? And to me, that's just so offensive because I value my friends and the people that I let close enough to me should know me by now. My character, the type of person I am, all of that. So some things you should know that it's just not me. But to come at me, that type of stuff is just like,
that hearsay stuff. Somebody said something to you about me.
Something. It's like, really?
I'm a firm believer in that meme. Talk about don't tell me what somebody said, tell me what you said.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care about what somebody else said, but what did you say when they said that about me? You know what I'm saying? Because that part.
Because I'm the type of friend.
Did you contribute to the conversation?
You ain't allowed to just be around me talking about my friends.
Me either. I'd be like, tell all the time, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that because you don't know them like that.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
You're not allowed to sit around and talk about my friends, especially if I know that you don't know them like I know them. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't even have no clue. So get punched in the face. That's me. But,
I just feel like as a friend, then you would know the sacrifices that I made. You would know the things that I've gone through, the hurdles that I've overcome, and knowing all of that. If you still choose to basically shit on those sacrifices or keep throwing those hurdles in my face when you know that that was something that I had to overcome, or maybe something I'm still struggling with, and you still want to make that a issue for you, then enough is enough.
Right.
I don't need that type of energy in my life. You disturbing that peace for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm over that.
I feel like if I water you, you water me, we both can grow. And that's in any dynamic of any relationship, whether it's, your spouse, your friendships, even relationships with your family. You can't just give, and the other person take.
Yes.
That drains a person. Yeah. The energy has to be reciprocated between the two parties or all parties involved for it to be successful.
And this might be another topic, or we could just talk about this later, but because you made me think about
I don't even know where our time is.
How much is the person supposed to take? Like, I really want to know from the people that really be doing shit to people. How much should that person take before they say enough is enough? Yeah. Because the person on the other side be feeling like why is it, you know,
that's
like, you
it.
leave?
You mad about
like,
that?
why
Yeah.
I've been
That's a
doing
whole different
for
topic.
38
whole
years.
other
Exactly.
different
That's
topic.
why I said a whole
Yeah.
different topic. Like,
That's a whole different, because they probably feel like, okay, I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna say that for another topic. But people on the other side feel like they've always been that way. Whereas we on the opposite side have changed, have grown, have matured.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you've always been that way.
right.
You've seen that I'm changing, that I'm maturing. We've
Right,
having
right.
conversations about it. So why would you always be that way with me?
Right.
Enough
exactly.
is enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, listen.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for joining, even through our technical difficulties.
Yes.
You can watch this live, edited up real nice for you Thursdays at
And
7
its
p.m.
entirety.
on YouTube. All right. But before we go, Mocha says, when enough is enough, keep your peace. Let it go. You don't want anything lingering in your life that hinders that. See y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.